it's really important that an authentic version of the Moriori history is included in this bill. And I was very pleased to listen to the number of members of Parliament who spoke in the first reading debate and acknowledged that they too had been influenced in their youth by misconceptions about Moriori history that are being corrected in this bill. As at 1840, Te Kane Moriori was still a valid legal order, despite the impact of the invasion to iwi from the mainland. But I really stress the point that there was a prior legal order prior to 1840, which had not been legitimately extinguished at 1840.
Erin King, who's going to present to us.
I ngā mana, I ngā iwi, I ngā rangatira, tēnā koutou katoa. I am of Moriori descent and I fully support the bill being passed into law. It is an absolute privilege to be here today to deliver this in person. Moriori have waited for some justice for 159 years from the Crown, so it seems the least that can be done to start putting it to right some of the wrongs of the past. It is important that my children and mokopu grow up knowing about the Moriori heritage and history and being proud of who they are. When I was a kid at school, I was told that there was no such thing as Moriori or that we were extinct, and even so today. I don't want my descendants to have to suffer through what I had to suffer at school. It is important for Moriori to have land returned to us on Rēkohu and Rangihosi, as we were robbed of 98% of that land by the Native Land Court in 1870. I would also like to see Moriori language be recognised in New Zealand as an official language. The teaching of the accurate history of Moriori as recorded in historical account in the Moriori Deed of Settlement in the New Zealand education system is going to be vital to correcting all the wrongs that were done to Moriori in the past in New Zealand schools. It is really important that the level of engagement with the Ministry of Education with Emi Moriori happens. I think embedding the accurate retelling of the history in the curriculum is a really good start. I think more dissemination of school journals. I definitely think the training for teachers, that's a really, really critical thing.
So if you were to look forward into the future, and this is something that Robert was bringing up earlier, 10 to 20 years in the future and everything's going good, what does that look like for Moriori mokopu?
Moriori mokopu in the future will be conversant in Te Reo Moriori. They will have their identity, their knowledge, their pride, knowledge in the history, the stories, and also the opportunity to see themselves in the day-to-day, in our day-to-day culture. You know, I believe our karapuna left us with a lot of other great things, not just hurt, grievance. There's a lot of other, you know, and peace, you know, there's hope, there's continued aroha. We're all in the same journey now going forward, and I think it's mutual respect. It is how we then navigate that together.
I'm into dreams, I suppose. E kuna hoki te io o taku pātai ki a koe. And so we've talked about language revitalization and where we might see the Moriori, Moriori in the next 10, 20 years. we've just gone through a whole lot of other processes, Māori wards, Māori electoral seats, all of those types of things. Is that something that, well, you've got Maui sitting there too, that the ME has talked about? If you've got a council, have you had a discussion around a Māori ward that has Ngāti Mutu, Ngāti Tama, and then you've got Moriori that also might have I'm just saying that there may be other legislative stuff that we could look at.
Moriori ward.
Moriori ward.
I think going back to the earlier question, that is definitely something that I personally see in the future. I would love to see, talking about dreams, that is definitely something that I would like to see.
There are problems with the Moriori Claim Settlement Bill. It is the product of a deeply flawed process and analysis, extending over nearly 30 years. If the purpose of a settlement is to resolve grievances and promote the well-being of communities, not divide them, then this bill falls short. There is no doubt that the conquest of 1835 violated Moriori tikanga. It ended Moriori authority in 1836. The rules of conquest are not made by the conquered. Tikanga is not determined by the conquered, but by the conquerors. I say these stark things, not to be hurtful, but if you are serious about approaching history honestly, then harsh and hurtful realities have to be acknowledged.
So absolutely agree with the flawed process. And I find it quite difficult to sit on this side of the table and act in Crown capacity, because we're all going through the same grievances in our iwi. And we've all got to find a way to try and deal with these grievances. There are examples out there where there have been iwi that didn't sign Te Tiriti o Waitangi, but have gone through and claimed through Te Tiriti o Waitangi process. And I take into consideration Waikato Tainui, Ngai Tūhoi, and also parts of Ngāti Pro, and they're quite adamant about this, tū whakairi ora who did not sign the Treaty of Waitangi. But the Treaty of Waitangi has found a place for them. It's a horrible predicament to be in when the Crown comes in its processes and creates division. When you live here, everybody's from the Chatham Islands. And so you see examples of that with Tauranga and Auraki. You've seen examples in Tūhoi, the Kutarere, Upakorehe, examples where the Crown process has caused these divisions, because in actual fact, when you're talking about Tino Rangatiratanga, those boundaries were about connection and not division. But this process here creates division.
Yes.
And so I take into consideration so I've read all of these submissions. I've heard kōrero around the Moriori actually having a stronger tie to Eastern Polynesia, but has been affected by events and persons from Aotearoa. Then how do we compensate that? How do we encourage them to be part of a process? To, like I heard in some of your kōrero, to move forward as a people, to move forward as a mautere, as an island. We all live here. E karoro mata. E karoro mata. Ara mai a tiko karere. Kuna te mahi a te karo. And so you guys have to live here. How do we support you to be able to do that? Notwithstanding that this process has already been in place and it's caused divisions for many, many years. The fiscal envelope, the cap, all those types of things, we've heard that before, and it's all flawed as far as I'm concerned. But we're in a situation at the moment, I'm not trying to patronise, but we're in a situation at the moment where we're going to try and find a way forward. Mo ngā tamariki mokopuna te taki. Ngā tātou mo ngā mokopu, mo ngā mokopuna. And so, yeah, my heart goes out to you all. And I'm just trying to navigate through this process.